In October 1967, an executioner in a Bolivian jungle fired 9 rounds into Che Guevara. To prove the target was dead, authorities amputated both of his hands and hid the remains. Those hands and the body vanished. Fidel Castro dedicated the next 30 years to a global manhunt, a mission to identify Guevara's executioners and recover the remains hidden by the Bolivian military. This operation would mark Cuba's transition into a global intelligence power, proving the state could project lethal force across international borders for decades. The foundation of this loyalty was laid in 1955. Guevara agreed to help Castro overthrow the Cuban government on one strict condition. Once Cuba was liberated, Castro would not stop Guevara from leaving to spark insurgencies in other countries. This diagram shows the tactical layout of the December 1958 Battle of Santa Clara. To cut off the capital from reinforcements, Guevara's forces positioned bulldozers directly on the supply routes, ripping up the tracks and forcing an incoming regime supply train to derail. That train carried 22 cars packed with advanced weaponry and hundreds of soldiers. It represented the peak of dictator Fulgencio Batista's military logistics, heavily armored and equipped to crush the rebellion. Instead of executing captured soldiers, Guevara ordered his men to treat their wounded in local hospitals. That move broke the military's remaining loyalty to Batista. Recognizing his loss of control, the dictator packed a plane with gold and fled the country 2 days later. This map tracks Guevara's movements after leaving Cuba to honor his pact. He deployed first to the Congo in 1965, withdrew to Tanzania, and finally established a new guerrilla front in the forests of Bolivia by November 1966. The operation collapsed when a local farmer named Honorato Rojas sold his location to the CIA. American and Bolivian forces rapidly encircled the camp. Fearing a public trial would give Guevara a global platform, the Bolivian president ordered his immediate execution the next day. Officials severed his hands for fingerprint verification and buried his corpse in a secret location. To stop anyone from hunting for his grave, the government broadcast a report that his remains had been incinerated. Finding Guevara and returning him to Cuba became a matter of national honor for Castro, an effort to undo the physical desecration and official erasure of his closest ally. Cuba's G2 intelligence generated a global hit list to eliminate everyone involved in Guevara's execution. The informant Rojas was crossed off. Officer Roberto Quintanilla fled to Europe, but G2 agents tracked him down and assassinated him in broad daylight in Germany. Using honey traps and deep cover hit teams, G2 agents tracked the remaining primary targets across borders, demonstrating that Cuba would settle revolutionary debts regardless of where offenders hid. Finding the body required a different strategy. Castro embedded G2